everyone on your thoughts on your first game in charge of Loftus Road.
I thought it was a really nice day for QPR all in all. Obviously with young Chloe Kelly coming on the pitch before and formally opening the Stanley Bowls stand, which is a fantastic moment to celebrate him. It was nice that we did our part as well. It looked like we were inspired by it for 30 or 40 minutes, and then we got a little bit nervous, and I think that's it with a young group. I think I'm personally delighted. I'm delighted with them. I don't think people realise the effort it took for Chris Willock to get through 70 minutes today. I probably played him another 10 or 15 minutes and made everyone a bit nervous behind me, but it was important we had him on the pitch because he impacted the game. What a fantastic goal. Also Luke Amos, he's played 45 minutes in the B team this summer. For him to go and knock that out, it just shows. And I said to him, it's always worth it when you go there together. It's always worth it. We beat a very, very good Championship team today. They'll be right up there in the shakes. And as a young team, we need to take confidence from it, because from January down, this young changing room has been hit from pillar to post, really. And we need to take confidence from just winning today. We'll analyse it, but let's not over-analyse it, because I thought first half we did so many good things, and then we got a little bit nervous, and that might just be eradicated with time together.
I think that we can just eulogise a little bit on Chris Willock's goal. Like you say, it was opening a stand after the Stanley Bowls.
Yeah.
Got a Euro 2022 winner in there, and then he produces that.
Yeah, we know how good he is at this level. It's vitally important that he brings the best out of others. I think Chris had his mate back today as well, so I think you get a little burst out of him. He's had a massive week. He's had a baby midweek and he didn't train till Friday. He's been away in Belgium. His wife giving birth, so he's had an emotional week as well. And I thought you saw them both tire in the second half, and obviously that brought Middlesbrough on. But what a goal! He's picked the ball up just inside our half, I believe, travelled 20, 30 yards and put it in the top corner. And we lost to a game last week to a goal like that, and they've had a lot of soul searching this week. And we said last week we had players like him and Luke missing, and we felt they would add a difference. Well, they certainly did add a difference today.
And you sort of mentioned that you're a very young team. Doesn't seem to be a senior head in there. So a lot of players who've come and found a home here at QPR, and sort of now this is a season for them to really step on, go beyond just establishing themselves as Championship players. There's going to be an onus on them if this team's going to do anything this season, that they really have to step up.
Yeah, I think they have to dispel that theory that they're a young group and an inexperienced group and they can get bullied, and I think they have to dispel that, and the only way they can do that is on the pitch. I think it was important to cut the cord in terms of some of the older players, because it's time for Rob Dickie and Jimmy Dunn and Jake, who we brought in, to step up. They're in their mid-20s. If we keep people there to hold their hand, when will they step up? My job and the rest of the staff is to nurture that, is to bring their voices out more in the group and to promote them. I think that's the best way for QPR to be exciting moving forward, and it's the best way for QPR to be sustainable as well. And I think we will certainly ride the wave at times this season, but I don't think we should forget we've beat a very, very good Middlesbrough team today, which shows that we're a good team ourselves. And we'll just we'll stay under the radar and just keep working away in the background. But these boys are desperate to not be seen as a young group. They want to step forward, so I'm going to give them that opportunity.
What were the challenges then that Boro created for you in that second half? Like you said, you kept a few players on a little bit longer than you would have liked to have done.
Yeah, I felt that in the first half we killed them a little bit in the middle of our running, and we overloaded around their midfield and off of the back three. You think of where we got the moments to drive, and we were playing through them quite well, especially in transition. And as the game went on, they started getting us in wide areas, and we had to make some changes. And tactically, they threw things at us that, where we'd just come together, we may not have covered all the bases in terms of having clarity on. But what we showed them was a willingness and a grit to sort of dig in. There was one or two fantastic blocks, I remember, in the game. One from Chris Willock, one from Rob Dickie. And that's what you need to do to win points in this league. I asked them when I first came together as a group, back at the start of pre-season, in my very first day, I said, I've come because I think we're a very good football team. I'm not sure if we can win. And that's what I'm going to learn. And today they showed they want to win, they want to stick together. So let's keep building on that.
After that game against Blackburn last week, just how big do you think it is that you've had a game like that where attacking in the first half, scored 3 goals and looked really good going forward for the confidence? How big do you think that will be?
Yeah, I asked them to take the handbrake off and to go after teams. We want no one to feel comfortable here at Loftus Road. Certainly I felt Middlesbrough wasn't comfortable in that first half hour. We went forward with real energy. I thought Luke Amos running out of midfield was a big part of that as well, and obviously Chris and Ilias and Lyndon, I thought they worked tirelessly and together. So again, that was the big message: take the handbrake off. It's Loftus Road. We want to make teams feel uncomfortable, and we did that. We were a little bit naive when we got 3-0 in front. It's a really poor first set play. We started the second half terribly. We didn't take on our game plan at the start of the second half, and for 20 minutes we were overrun. We were fortunate to get through that, but then we came back into it again, and it was a great advert for the Championship, I feel. Maybe not the best for me.
Yeah, I think you would have surprised obviously a few people with Chris Willock and Luke Amos on the team sheet, given, like you said, they've not really played him pre-season. How big of a decision was it to play those guys and to start those guys?
For me, it's not a difficult decision because I believe in them two boys and what they can bring to the team. It's more speaking to them and them trusting their body. Chris was desperate not to come off, but it's important now we've got Chris back. He's back to stay. You know, he had his first major injury of his career, if you like, back in March, and he's had an operation, and that's his first game back. For him to go and do that, it's like the dream. And so well done to all of the medical staff and the doctor here, because when I first came they told me he wasn't going to be ready for the first game at Blackburn, and he would have been last week if he wasn't ill on the Thursday. And so for him to be back today on schedule and then to score, that's almost like jackpot for all that work those guys have done.
Just on a couple of players that weren't involved today, Jake Clarke-Salter and Taylor Richards, what was the reason?
Unfortunately with Jake, he felt a twinge in his hamstring yesterday. I don't know the extent of it yet. He just opened out, and we didn't want to take the risk. I know I've got Jimmy, I've got full trust in Jimmy, as we know. I think I've got 3 excellent centre halves, and I've got 2 very good young ones in Connor Marston and Joe Gubbins, so no problem. Jake comes out, we don't want to take the risk. I thought Jimmy come in and done what Jimmy does. I thought he had a really, really good game. Taylor unfortunately felt a twinge in his thigh last weekend, and is going to be out for an extended period, unfortunately, so we won't be seeing him this side of the international break, which is desperately disappointing for him and for me, because he's a boy that I trust a lot, and I think he's got a real bright future in front of him. And young Sinclair rolled his ankle on Tuesday, didn't return to training until yesterday, so it was best not to take the risk with him with the cup game coming up on Tuesday.
Any idea how long sort of Richards will be? Will it be months?
We're certainly saying this side, he won't play this side of the international break, so the next 6 to 8 weeks.
Yeah, and I'd like to say that is a blow, obviously, because I think he impressed quite a few people when he come on it against Blackburn last week, and you know, his ability to drive the ball forward, and I know you're looking obviously forward to having him, so
yeah, it was a hugely disappointing week in terms of losing him and Jake. We're taking 1 step forward and 2 steps back in terms of that. So if we look at today's game, not having Tyler Roberts, Jake Clarke-Salter and Taylor Richards is what way do you want to look at it. It shows that it's exciting because we've got them 3 to come back that will play in our team regularly, and they're not available, and yet we can play as well as we did at patches today, especially in the first half.
And just finally, obviously Lyndon Dykes on the score sheet as well today. Had a kind of difficult end to last season where he sort of had a few games where he didn't score. How big do you think that'll be for him going forward now?
I think it's huge for him, but like I always say to Lyndon, just judge yourself on the chances you miss, and if we don't cross the ball, Lyndon Dykes is a striker that feeds off of crosses. I think he works so hard for the team, at times possibly as a number 9 too hard because he's away from the frame of the goal, but we've got to get people up and around him, and today getting Luke, an extra player up in front of the ball, and getting Chris and Ilias around him, he's then got more support, which disrupts the back 4 or the back 3 today. I asked him to go toe to toe with Lenihan, and I thought he did, and I thought he come out on top over the 90 minutes.
Cheers, Nick.
Just on Taylor, Mick, obviously the team did quite well, but it seemed like there was a period in that second half when you ideally would have had him on. He was the kind of player maybe you might have looked at for what was going on. Yeah,
I thought today, you know, in the stadium, there was a load of noise in the stadium and a load of motion in the stadium, and I saw a young, emotional back 4, young, emotional team at moments in the game, and it doesn't matter how much I shout or call them over and have a chat, they were very emotional in that second half, and that control we need to talk about. As I say, I'm delighted they got through it, and that's important for them, because I think maybe the results they had coming into this season at the end of last year, I think that you saw the nervousness. We dropped far too deep as a back 4 in the second half, and the distances between our back four and midfield were far too big. We did run out of legs a little bit with Ilias and Chris, and then I'm looking over my shoulder and thinking, who can come on? I thought Albert come on, and he helped run us up the pitch. And obviously Macca was through, wasn't he? And Lenihan unfortunately gets the red card. But yeah, you're right. I think over time we need to drill down a little bit more in terms of our identity and what we're going to do in the tough moments. I'm delighted they got through it because it's 3 points, and I think over the 2 games it's what we deserve. It's what we've given to the 2 games. But yeah, it was a little bit too uncomfortable for my liking.
Can I just ask you a question on Chloe, because obviously she was here just a few minutes on her. I mean, what inspiration is she, not just to women's football, but even to young players here at QPR? What can be achieved with hard work?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. I spoke in the week about when I was a young coach at Chelsea part-time. I also coached Chelsea ladies and Crystal Palace ladies in the early 2000s when I was 23, 24. And so to see the growth of the women's game, because back then the best players, it was only Fulham that were full-time, and the best players were paying a lot of money to play. So I know what the women's game's been gone through to get to the stage it is now. I think all them girls in that squad have been heroes last week. To play in front of 87,000, and certainly, you know, for Chloe to be one of her own, and you can see all I've seen this week is her smile. It's been on the back of every page. It's been on, and you see when she went back to her estate where she's from, how proud everyone is of her in this part of the country, and where she played on the estate. So I think it's fantastic. It's hugely inspirational for young boys and girls, because it's like the dream come true, scoring a winning goal for England in front of 87,000 in the final. There's not too many people who can say that, is there? So it's only her and Jeff Hurst now. So it's wonderful. We obviously had her in earlier, give her a round of applause, gave her a shirt, and this is her home, so we want her to feel special when she comes back here.
Thank you. And any Charlton questions? Sorry.
I was just going to say, did she give any words of wisdom when she spoke to the players?
No, she just said, get me the 3 points. So she's a big Rangers fan. She had up the R's, so she was... I think she was a bit nervous at first, because I think she said she was more nervous coming in to meet all of us than she was playing at Wembley the other day, which is very modest of her, because the one thing I'd say about the women's game is it's extremely pure. And now we're seeing at the moment everyone is more intrigued by it. They can see how the quality and the level's grown. They can see all the support the game's got, and the more media it gets and the more we commercialise it, it's important that we try to keep that purity, because I think it's fantastic. And listening to the girls' stories this week is really inspirational for everybody.